During a recent vulnerability scan, it was brought to my attention that one of my websites was susceptible to a ClickJacking vulnerability. And what this really meant was that a third-party person, like a hacker, could, with very little effort, inject an iframe into a page on my site and redirect traffic to wherever they wanted. So probably not a good thing to have around. And after reviewing OWASP's site, there were some directions that were listed on how to mitigate that. And I wanted to go ahead and share those with you today so that if you have this vulnerability, you can not only check for it, but then you can mitigate it at least using Apache. If you're running like an Apache Linux combination or Apache Linux stack. So on the OWASP site, and I'll put a link in the bottom of the description to go directly to this page, there is this sort of series of instructions down here on how to test. And essentially you just copy this and create a web page locally and do a test to see if your site is vulnerable. And I've done this already, and what you do is you just change the name here to whatever site that we're going to be testing. In my case, it's going to be Tom T, which is a personal site that I have. So that's this page right here. I'm just going to save it, and then I'm going to double click on it. And if we see the picture come up, or we see something in the web page show up in the iframe, it is vulnerable to ClickJacking. So by contrast, we'll go ahead and choose google.com and save that, refresh the page, and as you'll see, nothing comes up. So we were refused the connection. So that's essentially how we test. So now comes the question, how do we mitigate this? And the way we mitigate it is we're going to actually add something to the htaccess file. And again, I'm running Apache and Linux, and so this directive is going to prevent us from having that vulnerability show up for us. So I'm just on the root of my personal website, and I'm going to go ahead and open this htaccess with brackets here. And what I'm actually going to be adding in is oops, it looks like it did something kind of goofy there. What I'm going to be adding in there is going to be a directive. Here, let me show you this real quick. And the directive is going to be the X-Frame-Options, and I'm going to set them as the same origin because I still want to be able to run iFrames on some of my web pages. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. We'll go ahead and overwrite it. For good measure, we will try a new incognito window here. And of course, let's go back and change the site back to mine that I wanted to test here. So as you can see, this is no longer vulnerable to ClickJacking because of changing that htaccess file. And I will leave a link to the OWASP site and the actual directive that I used in Apache in the comments below so that you can do this for yourself. And there you go. Under 4 minutes, you are now no longer vulnerable to ClickJacking. Thanks for watching.